All right, we're here together again. Now we're here for episode 2.
Episode 2 of
We're going to call ourselves the ICduhweebs for now. Because, again, from the last episode, we haven't really talked about it as much. Because, there aren't any comments yet. And plus, compared to how you're listening to us right now, compared to the first episode, our mic quality is terrible in the first one. That's why we upgraded with mics. Now you can actually hear us.
now you can hear me now. Maybe. I don't know.
Whisper. Whisper something.
My name's Red Guy. I forgot to say that from one of my aliases.
See?
I am. You could also hear me too.
So this is perfect. So now we have an upgraded mic system. And as you can see, we also upgraded the background a little bit here.
Why don't you talk more about that?
Yeah, of course. So all of these here, including your right here. So for those of you who don't know what Round One is, it's a Japanese brand arcade that's here inside the United States. The other day, I ended up going with a bunch of friends and hang out with the community or the rhythm gaming community, and I ended up playing some of the machine games, and I ended up getting some of. Well, actually, I only won this one. One of my friends actually got me the rest of these, not including the ones that we displayed already from the first episode, but I'm just thankful that I actually have more to the collection now, and you could actually look at more stuff in the background other than just the plain blank wall. So, I also have a separate video. I'm still debating whether if I'm going to be posting it live on this channel or if we post it on like Patreon or whatever, or maybe if we have like our membership and then maybe could have that as a special video for you guys to watch where I literally just open up all of these figurines in the back and discuss the way how I won each of them. So that's going to be interesting. But that's not where what our focus is on today. And again, don't mind the background noise in case if anyone comes to the door or if Buddy's flying around. We're just here to talk about what we want to talk about today. And speaking of, do you mind leading into our topic today?
Today's topic, we are going to talk about some of our good old kid shows we've watched in the past. Mostly focusing more on the cartoons rather than the more real life like kid shows like
Yeah, or like
Jesse, Good Luck Charlie, and all that. If you
yeah,
know
so
those
any of the live action shows, we're saving those for another day. We're solely focusing on cartoons as much as
cartoons,
possible.
and it's not just Cartoon Network. There are other cartoons like Nickelodeon, some cartoons on Disney Channel, and other TV shows.
Yeah, we'll get to it too. So I actually have a list of different kid shows that we have from different various programs, like what he mentioned, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and then for me personally, PBS Kids. But we're gonna say what we know off the top of our head for now, and then we'll run through the list. And then hopefully by the end of this, we could think of maybe our top 5 favorite cartoons of all times that help like influence us, like and what we cherish now as adults that we remembered as kids. So starting off, what do you remember from your youth?
All right, first off, I will start off with probably one of my first kid cartoons, which I think it was on Nick back when it was Nick Jr.
Yep.
before the adult version, if you know what I'm talking about.
Nick Jr., the
My
Nickelodeon.
probably my favorite kid show from there was Wonder Pets.
Wonder Pets.
Wonder Pets, yeah. So that
Okay.
kid show with the three little pets, school pets that are school pets, and then somehow they're able to just build a ship and fly off to anywhere around the world, helping any animals that are in need of help. I still remember, still remember the three school pets. It was Linny, the hamster. The
I think it was a guinea pig.
no, well,
Was he a guinea
yeah,
pig or a
yeah.
hamster?
Um, Linny was the guinea pig. Tuck, my favorite one, is a turtle.
Same.
And then Ming Ming, which was a duck, baby duck. I don't see any of the kids that are, I don't see any of the kids at the school, so I don't. They're taking care of themselves at that point. But yeah, that was one of my favorite kid shows
I
when
gotta
I was
ask
very
you.
little.
I gotta ask you this. Before the Wonder Pets was established, do you remember back when Nick Jr. had like little stints of, I think it was just Lemmy having his own adventures before they established the Wonder Pets. Have you seen those shorts before?
I, this is the first time I'm hearing this,
Oh,
so
interesting.
no.
Okay, because I remember before the Wonder Pets came on, there were little shorts on Nick Jr. where they actually featured just only Lemmy going on like different adventures on his own. But the thing was, is that there's actually no voice acting. It's literally
Mm,
just Lemmy. And
I
then he, again, like,
see.
I don't remember if he also used the ship as well when he was with the other Wonder Pets, but he's also like doing adventures on his own. So you basically just see what he's doing and have the music in the background. That's it.
And I never knew about this. It
Yeah.
was
I forgot what it was called. I think it was like the Adventures of Lemmy or something. Or Lenny the
no.
Guinea Pig or like something like that. But I don't know if any of the viewers that are watching know about that. Maybe because like I'm older than him, so I knew this before Wonder Pets was established. So
Yeah. All right. Your turn. Your turn. You know what kid show do you remember
okay, so
love watching?
this is sort of like a hybrid. Like if you haven't seen the first episode, you know how much I love talking about nostalgia, and one of my favorites is Thomas the Tank Engine. Although
Mm,
there are people that would argue that technically it wasn't a cartoon show in the beginning, technically they're right because it's using models and live action trains moving around in a set. But it also technically turned into CGI later on in the years. So
and then technically, it's not like there's like real people. Those were
yeah,
like those
exactly.
people were like models, like so they don't consider as real.
Yeah, in your opinion, would
Mm.
you count it as cartoon then, or would you say it's like something different?
I say it's a kid show. Cartoons are more like those 2D, but you know what? We'll consider Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, exactly. And then to
Yeah,
show, yeah.
Thomas the Choo Choo Train. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, like I always get irritated when I hear someone say Thomas the Train. No, I knew it as Thomas the Tank
It is a
Engine.
train.
Technically, yes, but here's the thing.
It's just not specific.
Yeah,
Like,
here's the thing that I bet like you or none of you guys have known about this unless if you understand the lore of trains in general. Technically, Thomas is a tank engine or a locomotive from what we call it in the West. Technically, he's not called a train unless he's actually pulling something behind him, whether if it's like freight or like passengers. Though that's when you could call him a train.
see, so just him alone, that's a it's just a
Yeah.
tank engine.
Yeah, or if it's like a bigger engine, like with I don't know if you know who Gordon, Henry, and James are. They're the ones that have like tenders in the back behind them, so that carry coal. Those are called tender engines.
Mm.
Yeah, so those are different from that. But yeah, the influence of how Thomas made me as a kid. I remember when I was young, my I was shopping with my mom in a store, and I was only 2 years old at this time. So I don't know if you guys remember the store Dominic's back in the day, but I remember me and my mom were walking around, and then before I ended up liking Thomas and Friends, my kid show was Barney and Friends.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
Barney.
but technically, I don't count that as a cartoon, so we're not going to be talking about Barney today.
It's a kid show, but it's not a cartoon.
Yes,
Just
so we'll stick with Thomas for now.
we can mention that another time.
Yep. And I was walking around with my mom in the video section aisle trying to figure out what I wanted to watch other than Barney, right? And then somehow I drew into an image of Thomas from, if you know the TV or not TV show, the VHS of the original Thomas Comes to Breakfast. That was my first ever Thomas VHS and my exposure to Thomas the Tank Engine. What was funny about that too is that my mom was actually concerned about that because she had no idea what Thomas the Tank Engine was about back in the day. And then she called my aunt about it, be like, "Hey, what's Thomas the Tank Engine?" And then my aunt was like, "Oh, it's a kids show, and I'm pretty sure your son will love it." Instantly, when my mom inserted the VHS the first time and I heard the melody of the original Thomas the Tank Engine theme song, yes, I drew my love for Thomas the Tank Engine. And even up to this day, I still love rewatching like the old episodes, especially like when it was still models instead of the CGI type of show. But to be fair, when I grew up with the show, it was between seasons 5, 6, and 7. Mainly between that. So around that time, that's when Thomas was like into the point where he's like starting his first movie. I don't know if you know Thomas and the Magic Railroad. That was like his first ever debut on the big screen. But it was because of that the show flopped hard. So what made Thomas the Tank Engine as it was back in the day sort of like lost itself by then. Well, technically they lost it in season 5, but season 5 was great. So for those of you who don't know the lore about Thomas the Tank Engine, basically the first original 4 seasons were based off of the original books made by the original author, the Reverend W. Awdry. And it was based about how these trains would come together and like show like stories and depict how the engines would be in the real world. Because when you imagine Thomas the Tank Engine, you see them as actual trains instead of like, human beings. They have interactions, but you see them as like the perspective of trains, not to like how we humans think. That's why after season 6 and season 7, back when those days were shifted back, they actually turned Thomas the Tank Engine into like an actual kids show. Like, for those of you who don't know, Thomas is mainly a family show, the way how I see it, because it depicts the stories originally. But now, ever since, I want to say 2005, I think that's when the show started going downhill even more, when they turned it into an actual kids show. So, like they say, like life lessons, they have like some sort of problem that they deal with, and then in the end, they solve it, and yeah, we're all best friends. It's like that type of garbage. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's so dumb, but at the same time too, it's sort of, at least it sort of stayed relevant for a bit because they still had models. But when they transitioned to the CGI series, when everything was computer generated, oh good gracious. Okay, the first 3 seasons when they started CGI was beyond terrible. I couldn't repeat it, or I couldn't like bear it because like, I don't know if you know the trope of like some kids shows. Like, have you heard of the 3 strikes formula?
3 strikes. I think I've heard of that, but I didn't really look into it. What is it?
Okay, so basically it's where like a character in a kids show or like a show in general does one thing and makes a mistake. He tries to correct that mistake again, but ends up creating the same mistake.
Oh.
Yep, and then the 3rd time it happens, that's when everything gets corrected, and then everything gets back to normal again.
Oh, it's that thing.
Yeah.
I never knew what it was called.
I hated that formula so much, and it was because of like the later model series. That's when they push it too far, and then the beginning of those CGI series, that's when it gets repetitive. It's so annoying because they almost play for legit every single episode. What made it worse is that, especially to the point where they started doing CGI, was that the good thing about that I want to mention though is that each of the characters finally had their own voice, so there's no like one single narrator narrating all the characters. But what made it annoying is that they repeat stupid phrases throughout the entire episode, making them sound like they're Dr. Seuss. I'm not kidding. If you actually like listen to like one of those, I'm trying to remember one off the top of my head. It was that bad. I can't remember like how bad it was. It sort of like goes like Thomas went clickety clack down the track, and then down he goes, and he'll soon be back. And then you'll hear that constantly again and again throughout the entire episode. I could not bear that garbage. It was so bad. But however, they redeemed themselves. When one of the original writers of Thomas the Tank Engine came back, it was still in CGI, but the stories were actually good. They were developed. You actually like understand how the characters were feeling. And it sort of related back to the original stories, and then all of a sudden it turned into garbage again when Thomas decided to go all around the world.
I see.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Just letting you know, he is a diehard fan of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, for sure. Like I could literally just talk about like this whole episode. I could just talk about Thomas the Tank Engine, but
But we
we
don't
gotta,
have time for
yeah,
that. We don't have time.
yeah, we got to keep moving on. But yeah, this, if you know, my number one favorite show of all times is Thomas the Tank Engine, but
Yes.
the classic series, not the garbage ones
Not
in the
not the
future.
present, more present.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Don't even bring up the present version of Thomas the Tank
Yeah,
Engine.
yeah. Let's not. Okay.
No, I'm not talking about that. That today is just straight up garbage.
I'll save that.
Speaking
We'll save that another time.
exactly. Speaking of, so are there any other cartoon shows that you've seen as a kid that you enjoy?
There is quite a lot, and one that comes to mind. We're jumping from Nick Jr. to Cartoon Network.
Okay.
One show that, even though I didn't know too much about, or it was just amazing for me. One of the kids shows that at the time, it was, am I even gonna say it right? Codename from Kids Next Door.
Codename Kids Next Door. Yeah,
That
I
was
remember
such
that
a-
one.
I love the adventure of these five kids in this giant huge tree house that's just there, like as if it was just normal for all the neighbors around that. And yeah, so the five codename Kids Next Door, it's this like these kids that apparently see acts out or
They're
are
like
they're like
secret agents, but like
secret-
as kids.
yeah, kids, innocent. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know innocent, but innocent kids are trying to help other kids and everything, all that. And of course, their main enemies are some adults. Like literally, one of the adults was a toilet paper man.
Yeah, that's the one that
I
came to
forgot his
mind.
name, but
I don't remember too, but he's the one that came to mind when I
He-
thought about that.
somehow he was a funny guy.
Do you remember the other enemies? Are there like a bunch of other kids that talk at the same time too?
There was a Candy Pirates.
Oh, I remember
There,
that
Sweet
one.
Tooth and all that. Like
Yeah. There's that one. There's like a grandma.
there
character.
was. I don't know what she did though.
I remember she like made like types of meals or like whatsoever, and then like the meals come to life and they start attacking the kids. I remember
guess
that.
I don't think.
Who?
I don't remember.
What?
One though, so there was I know there's a businessman, which I think that was like
Oh, I know
that
who
was
you're
the
talking
father
about.
of number 3
Oh no.
or number 4.
No.
Wait,
I know.
okay.
I know who
wait,
you're
wait.
talking about. I forgot who's
so
the father though.
Number 5 is she has a red cap and blue
Yeah.
sweatshirt.
She wears blue. Yeah.
Number 4 is the Tommy or
The blonde one with the orange hoodie.
no, that's wait.
Yeah, that's number 4.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, number 4 is the blonde, that rebellious
Yeah.
kid wearing the orange sweater. I think it was my favorite out of the 5. It might be.
Fair game.
Number 3, it was the green sweater girl.
Yeah,
I'd
one
say
with-
she was
Yeah, with the one with the
the
black hair.
Asian one.
Yeah, she was the one that was into rainbow monkeys.
Oh yeah, the
Rainbow monkeys, rainbow monkeys. I remember that.
Number 2, that's the one I'm talking about. Tommy. Well, I don't know if it's Tommy, but he
Yeah, I
has the
remember.
goggles on. He's
Yeah.
a round boy.
Yeah.
He's a round
He
boy.
was,
And then
he was actually one of my favorites. But in my personal opinion, I think number 1 is my
then
personal favorite.
number 1, the leader of the 5, and then 5 kids. I don't. How much numbers was there?
There were just 5, but there were also like other kids too. That
Yeah,
also had,
other
like,
kids
various
around the
numbers.
world
Yeah.
somehow have access to all this like random technology that just works somehow.
If I remember too, I think one of their leaders, I think was named number 72 or 74. It was like a ginger girl. I don't remember her personality, but one of my favorite episodes from Codename Kids Next Door, I don't know if you remember this, but like they talk about how they were supposed to retrieve like a box, and then each of the 5 kids like talked about how they were able to retrieve it, but ended up losing it. So number 1's was like in a 3D world, sort of like a video game, trying to like go through it. Number 2, he was pretending to be a superhero like Superman, and then he was trying to retrieve that box. Number 3, sort of like a kid show type of ordeal where she's actually like best friends with the box. Number 4 had like a Dragon Ball Z type of event. And then number 5 was sort of like an old I wouldn't say flashback, but like crayon-esque type of cartoon. And then it only leads up to the end where number 74 tells them all they had to do was pick up a pizza. And then you see the shot of
I think I'm remembering something about that.
That was my favorite episode. And you see the shot of all the 5 just like feeling down and like feeling bad about themselves for not picking up the pizza.
Let's see. There is so much random episode. Like one episode I do remember. It was at the time they're in their treehouse.
Yep.
And I don't know what happened or how did it come to be, but they were taking care of some babies.
Oh, I think
Some babies, and then as they're taking care of it, of course, they're like, number 5 was the only one that knew where babies actually came from.
Yeah.
So everyone else, especially number 1, was like, babies came from eggs.
that was hysterical.
By a crane. And then the weird thing is that these babies, they're apparently evil.
Yeah.
They tried. What was it, like taking over or like destroying
Something
them?
like that, yeah. I think they wanted to actually take over the base.
They took their teeth somehow. The babies took I know number 1's teeth just to talk and all that. Then I think wasn't it number 5 that had to save them?
I think so, yeah.
Had to save them from the evil babies.
That was
and then
oh my God.
And then I think the one of the funniest best parts was at the end when number 1 and the others there asked number 5 was like, where do babies come from? You wanna know? And then And then of course when the screen turns black, you just hear the rest are like, ew, and all that.
Oh my gosh.
That was one of my remembered episodes from Kids Next Door.
Good gracious.
And then, well, I wish I could remember more of the episodes, but I don't know if it was the movie or it was like the last episode or so on. It's where the bad guy, the bad guy that's literally like that's like black but has red lining around.
Yeah, he has like a pipe and all.
Yeah, he has a pipe. His father became the pretty much the most evilest of them all, cause like whoever he touches, they turn like evil, like a zombie kind of thing. So
I don't remember off the top of my head.
One of the first ones that that old pap touched was the toilet guy, and so somehow after he turned, he was like somewhat OP because he would just summon all these toilet paper to infect all the other adults, and then of course it started spreading around the world. The kids were getting infected, turning into old people as well. Apparently.
Oh, I think I remember that.
One scene where it's like number 4 is hiding in the locker, doesn't know that number 3 turned old, and he's like, give me a smooch. It's like, okay.
Oh,
well, the moment that either the door opened or there was a light, number 4 was terrified, and so was like,
I mean, I probably do the same thing too under number 4's point of view. But holy.
But then where I was getting to it in this episode was at the end, as most of the majority of the kids were infected, turning into old people and all that. It was number 1 left with his father and I think a few others I don't remember. They found out that number 1's father was number 0, the one who started it all, just grown as an adult. So
that's weird.
That was such an interesting like twist of events.
How do I know?
And I forgot how they saved pretty much. I don't remember how they saved the world.
Wow.
You guys might know, but
yeah, honestly, I don't remember that.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I recall hearing about that, but I completely forgot about the ending. That's so interesting.
But yeah, that was such a good. I love the way that certain situations these kids can come up with certain gadgets out of like random materials and use it,
Mm-hmm.
either if it's arsenal or tools to help them get out of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just amazing.
That's actually pretty sick.
I found it so much fun
It is.
on their amazing random adventures as these kids versus adults pretty much it makes it sound like kids were somehow smarter than these
That's
adults.
how I felt like watching it too. Like when we were younger, like trying to watch these kids like go on these adventures, and then all of a sudden you could sort of like fit yourself into these kids' just shoes because you felt you had the power. You could overcome the adults, and then we could take over the world one day.
There, I'm pretty sure back then there were times when I would try to be like one of these kids and just try make something out of random stuff. It did not turn out so
No.
did not turn out so well. But the thought and the idea was pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah,
cool. And
exactly. I thought that was a really good premise too.
yeah.
But let's continue on. So,
All right.
all right. So you got two. This is my second one. So switching from anthropomorphic trains, let's talk about anthropomorphic animals. Hence why I'm wearing this shirt right now. So if you guys don't know what I'm wearing an
If
Arthur
you can't
shirt.
see, well, I'll just say it is. Well, I don't know how he says it, but it's Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur.
How
Yeah.
do you say it?
Yeah, I just
Arthur?
Arthur.
Arthur?
Yeah, so like the French version of it. Yeah, I absolutely adored the show as a kid growing up.
Maybe you want to bring it closer to the camera.
Yeah.
Maybe if they can't see it.
Yeah,
And if
so
they can, that's fine.
yeah, so this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the last DVD that actually came out from Arthur because last year they actually aired their. Was it last year or 2021? They aired
Wait,
their.
it was still going on?
Yeah, surprisingly, it was the longest running kids show on PBS Kids for such a long time. Other than I don't want to say Sesame Street.
Super wide.
Yeah, oh, Super Y, holy moly. We'll talk about that another time. But Arthur, like, was on for like 20-something years, and oh my gosh, like I grew up with like the original seasons of Arthur, so
I've only seen some episodes to a certain extent. So.
yeah. So I remember it based off of like, you know, the author Mark Brown, right? And like his works with Arthur, or like maybe I have no idea. Like,
Continue. Yeah.
do you know?
I was just saying that.
Maybe
yeah.
some books like maybe Arthur's Eyes, Arthur's Birthday, Arthur's Teacher Trouble.
No, when I
No?
was a kid, I prefer the show, watching it rather than reading those
Gotcha.
picture books.
Yeah, because basically those episodes were based off of those books anyways. So honestly, for me too, I personally would rather watch the show than actually read the books. Because I don't know if you've seen like the original illustrations of Mark Brown's depiction of Arthur, but they actually had him as like an actual aardvark with a really long nose instead of like the way how we see Arthur today. Yeah, but thankfully he was able to change the design and he actually looks really good now. So, and surprisingly kept that design all the way up until now. So when I grew up with Arthur, it was towards like 2000, like early 2000s, all the way, I want to say 2006 or whatsoever. So if you know the children's block on PBS Kids Go, usually Arthur would be one of the last shows to air before the program ends and then change it over to the regular PBS station with like adult programming and stuff. That's when I would tune in to watch Arthur. Those were my hands down like favorite episodes to watch because like around that time, like I don't know if you guys know about this, but if you had like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network back in the day, I believe those were like paid channels that your parents need to actually like buy to watch.
Oh, by the way, before he continues
Yep.
that, which kid show were you mostly fond to? For me, I'd say I've watched the majority of, or I've watched more Cartoon Network than the
Oh,
other shows.
are you talking about like?
Like which
Oh,
like
channel?
kid,
Like
yeah,
which
which
channel?
were you like mostly?
Oh gosh, that's hard because like I mix back between all of them: Cartoon Network,
Yeah.
Nickelodeon, Disney. Well, Disney Channel when it comes to cartoons, no. For me, it was between Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, or PBS Kids.
For me,
Those were the three
and then
stations that I go back to every
and
now and
then
then.
sometimes it'd be Kabillion, Kabillion
Oh,
or
Kabillion! Holy
Kabillion,
moly!
and there's another
Like there are
four kids, four
four
kids.
kids, four kids. There are other ones too, like Discovery Kids. I don't know if you know about that one. Um,
Oh yeah,
no,
okay.
that was the other.
I
I think
definitely
that's
got
it.
a show that from one of those other channels.
I'll talk about Discovery Kids in a bit. You'll see the reason. Yeah, you'll also see the reason why later on.
All right, continue.
But continuing on, so yeah, Arthur, I really love his inspiration. Growing up as a kid, I think I've seen him back in kindergarten, and then he was the inspiration for me to actually wear glasses.
I
So
thought, wait, so
yeah,
what?
surprisingly, right?
They like wear glasses just because of that, or like
Yeah.
because you're having eye problems or couldn't?
No. Not only I did have eye problems back in
No.
second grade,
Okay,
so.
so
But I think the reason why I got into wearing glasses in general was because of Arthur. So because like I told myself like I'd never like want to like put contacts on my eyes. I'm like that one person that fears like if like something like hits me in the eye, that just feels weird and wrong to me. I'd rather not touch my eyeball. I'd rather just put on glasses and call it a
oh
day.
no. First, you wash your hands, mostly specifically your finger, and then you just slowly, not like do
I
it so
push my
hard, but
finger in my eye. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. Like I don't mind getting water in my eyes, but if it's like my finger or like anyone else trying to touch my eye, no thank you.
I think it'll be more painful if your nails are sharp. Yeah.
No, exactly too. But yeah. So when it comes to Arthur, yeah, he's the inspiration why I wear glasses. It was weird too because I feel like any of like the inspirational shows that I've seen, hence like the ones that I have beside me, they have like specific traits on the reasons why I enjoy watching the show as a kid and making me who I am right now. For Arthur, it was the glasses. For Thomas the Tank Engine, it's because of the color blue. Hence
All
why I adore the
all
color
those
blue.
trains for the color blue.
Yeah. It was that one, and then my interest for like nostalgia in general.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, for Arthur, again, the reason why is because of the glasses. Not only that, but I think it also has like, if not for Thomas and Friends, one of my favorite kids show theme songs of all times. I don't know if you recall it. No, because
Maybe if you sing it, maybe it'll come to mind.
every day when you're walking
Oh,
down
of
the
course,
street.
that one. Isn't that's the intro?
Yeah.
I thought you were mentioning like some other song that was in the show.
No. Just the theme song in general. Honestly, I'm
Yeah,
surprised. Like ever since the
definitely.
first episode until the very end, they still kept it.
I
Yeah,
can't
dude, I
continue.
love that theme song. That was also another reason why I
It
love
was
that
it was
show.
it was a good one. Good
And,
one.
and what I really love about Arthur, I wouldn't say the most, but like in general, compared to other kid shows, is that after you see an episode, you actually felt like you've learned something after watching it. Like take Bluey for example, because you actually learned something from watching Bluey. That's for me, but with Arthur. Can you? Because like at the end of each episode, you felt like you learned something, or like you learned something about one of the characters, or like establish a bigger character development. Like one of the examples that I could think of right now, I don't know if you know the meme episode where Arthur punches his sister DW.
You know what? I think I know, I remember
The
seeing it as
Arthur
a
Fist meme.
meme,
Yeah, the
but
Arthur Fist meme is that one.
maybe I think so. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was so funny.
Yeah. Because it came to mind because like of one, you understand the relationship between Arthur and his sister, and then two, like how it all ties together in the end. Because in that episode, so Arthur like receives like a model plane from the mail, and then like sets it up, and like has like these weird fantasies about like achieving like a Nobel Prize because of like his work on the actual plane. And then the countless times when he tries to like build the plane, like paints it and stuff, and like tries to like have it molded, his sister would usually come in and tries to like mess everything up, right? So like in one part, it's like very brief. She ended up touching it, but it was still covered in wet paint. and then DW blames it on Arthur because she made her hands all
Those-
wet. But keep in mind, DW
those
was only
sisters.
4 years old, okay? And then Arthur was 8. So, and then afterwards, throughout the rest of the episode, it came to the point where Arthur was like dreaming of his fantasies about the plane. And then, of course, multiple times, Arthur told DW not to touch the plane at all times. But being the 4-year-old she is, she ended up playing with the plane.
Of course.
And like actually like pretending to be like the pilot and stuff. And then there was a shot of Arthur like pretending to fly around in the living room. And then out the window, you see the model plane hit the ground.
Oh.
And then the next scene, you see DW come in and being like, Arthur, you said that the plane can't fly. It's not able to. And then Arthur, and no, it wasn't that. It came to the scene where you see like clouds in the sky and like thunder coming in. And then you see like the broken plane on the ground. And then Arthur's like hope and dreams were all lost and shattered.
We have those times too.
Yeah. And then DW comes out and like blames everything on Arthur and the plane because technically the plane was supposed to fly, but because it's a model plane, it can't fly, and she doesn't understand that. And then what made it all the more
kids.
irritating is that DW kept telling Arthur that it was his fault. I don't know if it's like his fault or something because I don't remember the full episode at the top of my head, but it's like DW's telling Arthur that he built the plane wrong, basically, because it couldn't fly. And then that's when Arthur got even more mad and upset, saying that DW shouldn't be touching the plane. It came to the point where he got angry, the fist was born, and ended up punching his sister, right? And then she ran off inside, and then his mom came out.
Versus the usual well, I wouldn't say telltale, but mommy, he
No,
punched.
no, she was actually crying.
Yeah, no, she was
Yeah.
crying. She'd be crying. She's what, 4 at the time?
Yeah, 4. And then their mom came out. And then when I heard Arthur Timothy Reed, I was like, oh gosh,
Oh,
it's
boy.
getting real.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And then there's more to that episode too. It's not just that, because that's the part that like everyone remembers the most of Arthur hitting his sister. But it came to the point where like Arthur hitting his sister became so popular that everyone in his class started hearing about it. And like because of that, they think that Arthur's in the wrong because he hit his sister. Well, technically, I could sort of see that being the reason why others would be upset because of how the way Arthur treated his sister, because technically he's not supposed to do that.
You shouldn't. Just to let you guys know, you shouldn't just.
You couldn't go around hitting your siblings like that just because they did something wrong.
Yeah.
But then again, for us, we have brothers growing up, so that could be a different story.
I have more siblings than them, but
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, do you also remember Binky Barnes?
Pinky Barnes.
So this character, right here.
The yellow.
Yeah, he's portrayed as the school
Yeah.
bully from time to time. So
Yeah,
right
I
there?
do. Well, okay, I remember some of the characters. I don't remember their names.
yeah,
So
that was Binky. Yeah, right here.
what
So
was he?
he's a bulldog.
Yeah, bulldog.
Yeah, so he also learned about how Arthur punched his sister too, and then he
I
hung
can
out
see
with
where
like
this
his
is going.
he hung up with this group of people, right? And then they were all trying to pressure him to see if he could hit Arthur so that Arthur can learn his lesson for hitting his sister. And then, but Binky didn't want to do it because he felt like it was wrong. And then each time he saw Arthur, he tried avoiding him, but it wasn't until like he dropped his pen, right? And then Arthur came back to Binky and wanted to give the pen back to him. And then what made it worse is that his group of friends were around with him and they're telling Binky to do it. And then you see a shot of Binky actually swinging his arm and hitting Arthur.
Oh boy.
And then at the end, you see like Arthur being cared for by his dad. And then, of course, DW comes in. And then, of course, she apologizes for breaking the plane. And then Arthur apologizing to DW for hitting her. So it sort of just leads to that. But what I find funny is that After DW apologizes, she was like, "But what kind of person creates a plane that couldn't fly?" Or like something along that line. Again, she's
Yeah,
4. She's
yeah, yeah.
4.
She's like little. They're very young. They don't understand
Yeah.
everything. So
But at
just
least
like
you're
it's
able to
just
learn
what?
something in the end. I wouldn't say like the lesson was like a karma strikes back or whatever, but it's like you need to be careful about your actions and what you do and stuff. Not only for DW but for Arthur too. But there's one thing that irritated me throughout the episode, and it's sort of the reason why I don't like current kid shows like Peppa Pig or like back when I was watching Caillou, is that the parents
Mm.
never discipline the children. Especially for
Just to let you know, we're Filipino, so
yeah.
our parents they do discipline us.
Yes.
So, no,
But for
so
in a good way, in a good way.
for
But
good reasons and all
yes,
that.
very good reasons, honestly, to train us up. And then for for Arthur's case, he got punished, but DW hadn't. So I don't know what the deal was there. So
She's just a young. She's way too young to
yeah,
understand things.
but still, even if you say that we're parents and then we have a 4-year-old who misbehaves, you still wanna punish them for a behavior that they did wrong, right?
Yes, I guess.
Exactly. Like say they were
But not like
misbehaving.
not the very usual harsh
Yeah, yeah,
kinds of
yeah.
things.
But we wouldn't go that hard on them. We maybe they give them like maybe like a 5-minute timeout and like that's it. Like that would already count as a punishment.
Sit in the chair in the corner for
My,
five
that's funny. My
minutes.
mom used to do that to me and my brother when we were kids too.
Mm,
But
something
yeah, yeah. So it was basically like that. So it's sort of like that for each episode. You learn something different and you learn something new. And what I also love about Arthur too is that it also touches on the dark side of things. Like you wouldn't expect a kid show to talk about it, but they ended up doing it in a way that you can relate with the characters. Like one I'm gonna go talk briefly about this one because we got to move on to another show. Like you
yes.
know the events of 9/11, right?
Uh, definitely.
Uh-huh. And I'm pretty sure all of you watching know about the events too.
Wait, 9/11. That was not saying that I'm dumb or anything. 9/11 happened in 2001, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Um
the year I was
yeah, the year you were
the
born.
wait.
Oh, I think. No, never mind. So
Yeah.
I think I could be wrong though.
Ah, yeah.
But after the after that happened, they made an episode, a two-parter episode, surprisingly, with Arthur doing the same exact thing. Well, not with like with adults, but like something similar to it, because
It
like
was a
you
terrorist.
no, not like that. There was a school fire that happened that traumatized all the kids, one way or another.
Oh
Like, for
my god.
example, Arthur's dad was inside too, and he was supposed to cater. By the time everyone was out, one of the only ones left inside the building was Arthur's dad. So he had that trauma of like, if something happened to his dad every time he went away, something bad would happen to him. There was another one. I don't know if you remember who Sue Ellen is. So basically, she had a diary that she kept when she was little, and then
She had brown hair,
no, I think you're thinking about Francine.
probably.
She had red hair with like the pigtails on the
I'm
side.
just looking on your shirt.
No. So
Is
yeah,
it
I don't know
that?
if you guys could see my shirt. So like in order from what I'm seeing, this is Muffy, this is Francine, this is Buster, Arthur, the Brain,
Okay,
and
so
Binky.
entirely a different character. Okay.
Yeah. Sue Ellen is different. She's like a side character to me.
Hmm.
But yeah, she had like a diary that she kept for a while, but it got destroyed in the fire.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. What other ones? The other one that I could think about. Oh, Binky. Binky also had a traumatic event thinking about like the fire happening because when you see the kids walking out, he stops for a second and he actually notices the smoke coming out, and then
The dog, of
he also
course.
sees the janitor walking out trying to like catch his breath from the fumes and stuff. And so Binky has like traumatic flashbacks of like and the fear of fire because of what he noticed and saw with his own eyes. And then one of the funnier ones, because he completely missed the event in general, was Buster. He woke up late, so he missed the entire event.
Ah. It's
And
like it's like the next day he's like talking to everyone else that was included in the fire. It's like, what did I miss, guys? Everyone else is like,
no, he literally ran to the school after the event finished, and he was like, "Oh, I missed it." And then like Francine
oh
comes in, it's
no.
like, "Oh my gosh, you don't want to know about it." But yeah, so the whole episode talks about like the kids and their experiences about trying to overcome their traumatic events from what happened in the school, like what happened in like the 9/11 events in
I,
general,
I
but
see, I
transferred
see.
as kids. They even touched on cancer.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they talked
Interesting.
about cancer. They talked about same-sex relationships.
Life problems, yes.
Yeah, so like stuff that kids might learn today, but transferred it to the point of view from Arthur and his group of friends.
See, I
Yeah.
see.
But that's the reason why I love Arthur, the life lessons and the catchy theme song.
All right. I see, I see.
All right,
Interesting.
any other kid shows that influence you as well, other than the two that you already mentioned?
Let's see. Oh, as I was saying from earlier, one
Mm-hmm.
of the kid shows that isn't like the main ones, like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm.
From I believe it was Kabillion,
Mm-hmm.
a kid show that I remembered watching a lot of was Code Lyoko.
Code Lyoko,
Yeah,
wow. I love the theme song. I
that
love the
that
theme
was
song.
um such amazing. Yeah, so Code Lyoko, where these kids, what grade was it? This is like
I
beginning of high school or
Yeah,
something.
I think I don't remember
Maybe
off the top of my
high
head.
school, middle school, one of those grades,
Mm-hmm.
and they found this like secret hideout somewhere like through sewers and all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
that would lead to like another world where it's like they had to achieve a I forgot what well the main object anyways like they some of these random kids they showed up to this secret hideout where they go into these pods and then they'll be transferred to another world with different with avatars
Mm-hmm.
where for one so first you have the one with the glasses. He was the one that was behind of like all the technology tech.
The blonde one, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was had blonde hair. He had the glasses. He was behind like making like he wouldn't go into the world, but he was behind like the technology kind of stuff where
Yeah. He knew
making sh
everything basically.
yes. While the other kids, one of them, yeah, it was a blonde one. When he goes into the other world, he was a purple cat and all purple cat with claws and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, he had a he was pretty much a ninja with a katana and all that. His
Yeah.
sister, I believe it might be his sister, maybe not. She had like two fans where she can throw him around. Of course, it'll
Mm-hmm.
destroy these weird-looking monsters with a target on them.
Yep.
So then they also meet this pink-haired girl that's from that world, which somehow she was able to go to their world and
Yeah. That I
somehow
found really cool.
became a student somehow. And so they would be doing this. They're pretty much going to the other world, achieving these whatever goals, like collecting a box or something for the pink-haired girl to collect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember like the whole.
The premise in general.
Yeah, pretty much that.
Yeah.
So
Same with
it'll
me.
show other than going to the other world to collect these boxes and all that. Of course, we also see their daily lives at school and all that.
Mm-hmm.
One character I didn't like, it was of course the girl that had the crush on the ninja guy. She was one of those sassy girls. It was like, ugh.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but
I don't
I
remember
can
their names.
imagine.
And
I can
the
imagine
fact
it
that I
though.
don't remember the names, but I can still remember like what they looked like and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting show. Another one of those kids doing these secret kind of missions and all that.
Do you recall a favorite episode?
Favorite episode? Um, I know there was at some point where it's like coming from the other world.
Mm-hmm.
They will go into their world and it's like sometimes I don't know the gym teacher was like mind controlled, and so was the girl that I'm talking about that I
Yep.
don't like. I don't. There was that episode, but I forgot what was happening. I'm assuming some reason the other world was coming to their world, like having an effect on them, and then all
Hmm.
that. Yeah, it was like it's not. I don't remember all of that, but
Gotcha. Yeah, cause
that
for
was it was an interesting show. It was like pretty much they go into another world, like a video
yeah,
game kind of thing.
exactly. I think that's what made Code Lyoko awesome because of the two different animations, and
Yes,
based off which world they're in, it's a different animation. Like
yes,
the
it is.
real world uses
That's
2D.
2D,
Yeah, and
and
then
then
the other world uses 3D, which in my opinion is freaking cool.
it's interesting. They were able to do that at the time.
Yeah, honestly, they do it better than most animes
Um,
nowadays. I'm not gonna
it's
lie.
better than the CGI. CGI.
Yeah, that's the reason why I love Code Lyoko in the first place too, because of the animations and how they switch back between 2D and 3D when needed.
It was such an interesting kids show.
What made it, I thought, what also made it cool is that when you sometimes would mix in the 3D with the 2D stuff, because if I'm not mistaken, they'd also show screens in the 3D world of the
Oh yeah,
2D characters.
yeah. It does do that.
That's awesome. I loved that as a kid.
They made it work, unlike some of these other
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that.
shows. But yeah, I wish I could talk. I wish I could talk more about it, but I don't remember like the
Yeah,
whole episodes.
it's ironic that you remember watching that on Kabillion. For me, I saw it on Cartoon Network.
It was maybe at some point it was on Cartoon Network, but then
Yeah,
they moved it to
yeah,
Gabillion.
exactly. I think maybe because of like legal issues or like rights or whatsoever. So
That stuff, yes.
yeah,
But of course, the theme song was
it was so freaking catchy.
so amazing, so amazing.
Okay, so I
So
guess I could go ahead and transition
back
over.
to you.
Yes. Okay, so another favorite one. Actually, it's not from PBS Kids this time. Now I'm going to be talking about Disney. So
Yes, yes.
this show was actually on both Disney Channel at one time and then moved over to its preschool block, Playhouse Disney, back in the day when it was called Playhouse Disney instead of Disney Junior. Um, I don't know if you know the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
I didn't know those.
Yeah, it was actually a cartoon back in the day. So after the popularity of Winnie the Pooh, they
Maybe I know. Oh no, I probably have only seen like the movie ones.
yeah, because this is the original movie, or at least the one that I have. Oh wait, is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, this is the original. This one that I have.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely adored the movie as a kid. And then if Barney wasn't my childhood hero, it was Winnie the Pooh. Because I recall one time when I was 3 years old, we went to Disney, right? And then, of course, the character that I'm most excited to see out of everyone in Disney was Pooh, right? I was in line. I was happily, eagerly excited as a 3-year-old bumbling happy boy waiting to see my all-time favorite character. When it was my turn to run up to Winnie the Pooh, I ended up charging towards him and hugged him as tight as I can. And legit, everyone in the line was awing, like, "Oh, that's so cute!" And then my mom was like grinning with like eagerness because she knew that I was a child of my mom.
I
So
wonder how it was a mascot, right?
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
wonder how the guy in it felt when you just went up to it and was like, I want,
Exactly.
yeah, I want. It was
I don't
like
know. I was 3,
it
so
was like,
and I was a very happy boy. Yeah, I was a very happy boy. So that was one of the reasons why I like got into Winnie the Pooh. But it wasn't just like the Winnie the Pooh movie that had it beforehand. But I forgot what year. It was like like early 1990s or late 80s. They developed a television show for Disney Channel called The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and it had like little adventures of Pooh and his friends doing stuff together. All of them being like how to put it, slice of life-ish type of way, but as of course as the Pooh and Friends characters. So each of them would go off on like different adventures, and you learn about how each of them would develop as characters along the way. But however, do you know who Christopher Robin is?
Of course you do. He's
Okay,
the only human
yeah,
kid that ever shows up in the.
yeah. Honestly, whenever they have an episode with Christopher Robin, is hands down my favorite. One of the episodes that I can recall was when Pooh and his friends were at Christopher Robin's place, and Christopher Robin had like a toy train set, like running around in his room. They were all pretending to be cowboys, and each of them were doing like different stunts and like pretending to be like these different characters, and they it was like pretty interesting because like you imagine like as your favorite characters back in the day, and then they end up becoming like these awesome like cowboy-ish type of characters. Um, uh, and then, if I'm not mistaken, there was a scene where Tigger was driving the train, and then he ended up breaking the train. Not only in the fantasy, but like in Christopher Robin's like real train as well. It ended up breaking, and so I think it was like an episode. I don't remember the episode in full, but it was like Tigger trying to like fix. I don't know if he's trying to fix the train or if he's still acting as his character as like the runaway bandit with Winnie the Pooh, and trying to escape from the rest of his friends. It was something like that. But like those are the
Interesting.
that's like one episode I could actually recall,
I
and
see.
I don't know. It's just something about it. It's like really cool.
So I'm assuming Winnie the Pooh is your favorite character, of
Yeah,
course.
hands down. Tigger is a really close second though.
Yeah, Tigger's probably my favorite at the
I think
time.
it's like everyone's favorite character in Winnie the Pooh. Like if I could ask
Who's
like
that
anyone else in my family.
enthusiastic fellow
Yeah,
just
exactly.
comes
He
around.
was always energetic. He was always like in a good mood no matter what happens. Yeah. But for me personally, I just love Winnie the Pooh. I just love this
Mm.
character. I just love the way how he acts. I love his voice actor too, especially when the TV show aired, Jim Cummings.
Mm.
He also like starred in like various other cartoons as well, and even video games.
I see.
He was one of my favorites. There's that, and of course I have to bring up the theme song.
What was the theme song?
It goes
I
like,
don't think I know.
so it goes like, gotta get up, I gotta get going, I'm gonna see a friend of mine. He's round and he's fuzzy, I love him because he's just Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear. Looking for fun, chasing some honeybees, Pooh Bear, I know he's out there. Rumbly tumbly, climbing 100 tree, fun never ends for us. We're so adventurous, least every now and again. And when you're alone and there's nobody home, it's nice to be able to count on a friend like Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear. Wherever you are, oh, won't you take me please, Pooh Bear, I gotta be there. It's me and it's you, the silly old Winnie the Pooh. Oh my gosh, I actually sang the whole entire theme song. That's awesome.
Interesting.
I hope we don't get copyrighted
And
for
when
that.
was the last time you watched Winnie the Pooh and His Adventures?
So back in the day, I think the latest time I watched it was around 2004, 2003, I want to say.
Oh my gosh, and you remember the
Yeah.
theme songs?
No, here's the thing too. Because ever since I realized that me and my family had Disney Plus, I ended up watching every single episode again. I loved it. It's like, oh my gosh. I think the reason why, because they stopped it, is because they turned into a puppet version of Winnie the Pooh. I don't know if you know the
Puppet
Book of
version.
Pooh. So it's literally the
I
same
don't know.
cast, but only except now they're played as puppets. But the adventures that they have are aimed more towards kids. Like if you took the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, they were more for like the family in general because you actually get to enjoy the stories. But the puppet version, the Book of Pooh, is mainly towards the kids. Like it sort of has the same premise, but it feels different just by watching it.
See,
Yeah.
interesting.
I don't
Very
know.
interesting.
I just like it in general. It's just something about Winnie the Pooh that I absolutely adore.
All right, interesting. And by the way,
Mm-hmm.
for Christopher Robin being the only human in that, does he like? How does he appear of it? Unless if everything is his imagination.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all based on his
It's
imagination.
like he's a kite. He has a way to teleport to this world where
Yeah,
his
exactly.
stuffed animals are
Are real.
are real.
Holy moly! Like I don't know if you like. Do you remember when they did a live action movie called Christopher Robin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
yeah,
it was like he's like grown up as an
yeah.
adult, and
Exactly.
then
As an adult,
somehow Winnie the Pooh and all of them, these little plush, they're alive and find them and all that.
I actually like that movie. I don't know.
Christopher. Oh, I can't do sports. I don't know.
But yeah, it's sort of like that. The way how I imagine Christopher Robin to be
Mm,
towards his world too.
okay.
But yeah, that's how much I love Winnie the Pooh. He also has an interest in me today because like, um, of course, like the way how he is, and he's satisfied for who he is. So, of course, like he doesn't mind being round and like happy and stuff. So
Bro, he's living his
he's
life.
content. Exactly.
He's
He
living
enjoys
his
eating
life.
honey. That's what I love about him. He's
You
always
love
happy
honey?
to.
Do you have a thing for honey? You love honey?
I used to back in the day, but now I'm trying to cut sweets because
Used
I'm
to.
mostly fasting nowadays.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
want to talk about at least one more show for each, and then
Yeah, that's
let's
what I was thinking.
perfect, and then we'll run through a list and then pick our top fives.
Oh,
What do
what
you
the
think?
heck? No, no, we'll save that for another time.
If you say so, but for me, I still don't want to do. I don't know. We'll see. Okay,
All these other kid shows that I've watched so many, but the last kid show or cartoon that I'll bring up for today, and I don't know if you noticed that I'm going through chronological order. So
yep,
from Wonder Pets to Kids Code Name from Kids Next Door
yep.
to Code Lyoko. You know, it's probably similar times, but I think Code Lyoko happened after Kids Code Name from Kids Next Door.
I think
The
it did too.
last kid show, or the last cartoon that I'm gonna talk about, this one, it was probably one of the last Cartoon Network shows I watched before I stopped watching TV.
Yep.
So, and this also, I want to rewatch this too, because I just
I,
love it
I
so
sort of,
much.
I sort of want to take a stab and
Like,
see which show this is gonna be.
all right, take a guess.
Is it Adventure Time?
No, no.
Oh,
It was a interesting cartoon show. Interesting. I did watch, like, probably the beginning. I don't know how they went. There's a lot like that. There's a lot that I've missed from Adventure Time, but no, that's not the kid show. The
Steven
one,
Universe.
no. All right. The
Dang it.
one that I'm talking about is Regular Show.
Regular show.
I want
Okay.
to rewatch it too. I still remember some amazing episodes from it. It's all the way from the beginning with the pilot, quote unquote, pilot episode
Yep.
to, well, there were some episodes that I watched it all the way from the beginning, all the way up to where, let's see, that was before they went to space for whatever reason.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing that I love about the show is that it's like the irony of the title, regular show, but then you see them all these weird
Like
random
animal
shows,
characters.
event, like all this stuff that's happening what shouldn't happen, but it happened, whether it's magic or it's like some other random stuff.
Yep.
I just love going back to regular show.
Yeah.
I just love these two guys. They're both animals. They decide to work at a park, a public park, and then after all that, it all began. They got the job. They all these workers. They all live in this one nice looking house,
Yep.
and the very first episode, the pilot episode, it was with this old chair that Benson was getting rid of.
Yep.
Or not Benson, it might have been Pops that's getting rid of this leather chair. And then
Oh shoot.
they both were like, "Oh, I want this chair," even though it was not comfortable at all. So what they settled on, they decided to do rock, paper, scissors. And you know how before they continued doing it, like they already had like three draws in a row.
Yep.
Pops was so fascinated. Benson comes in, their boss, and is like, don't play that game. It's an evil game. And so they didn't care. They still went did rock paper scissors. They did all the way up to 100 times. It was all a draw, and suddenly I forgot what shows up. It was like this demonic creature. It's like, you guys have done rock paper scissors 100 times drawn, and so it was like I don't know. It's like destroying the world or something.
I think I can recall that
And Benson
episode.
shows up like, you have to break the draw, and so they did rock paper scissors. I think Mordecai let Rigby won,
Yep.
and so after that, it was like everything's back to normal. The monster is gone.
Yep.
Everyone that was like crowding around watching these 100 draws, they're like "Ugh," and all that and going home. The two main characters, Mordecai and Rigby, they see the leather chair. It was split in half, and they're like, "Oh yes, we get to have it." And then Benson was like, so mad, was like, "Get rid of it, or else you're fired." I just, and then, of course, they had to get rid of it. So, where I'm getting at is that I love how it's like, ever since episode 1, it's like, these two, they're doing like they're like going through the normal life. We see how their lives are going. Like, out of like most normal regular kind of like things that are happening,
Yep.
it just somehow turns into this like unpredictable thing. Is like, whether if it's a monster that shows up or like pretty much the impossible. I just love it randomly happens. Like,
Yeah. Understandable too.
it's those crazy, wacky adventures. And of course, some of the either memes or like trends and all that happens in the show. It's so amazing.
It is, honestly. Man, when you brought up regular show, for me personally, I only saw it as like the sideshow compared to like, around that time, Adventure Time was really popular. So, but I only seen it as a sideshow. But for some reason, it actually gave me more attention to that show compared to all the other Cartoon Network shows around that time because of the premise in general.
Of course.
Yeah, because of like those two together, Mordecai and Rigby, off doing like weird stuff together, but they end up like getting to like different mishaps and different problems and different troubles, and only to make things like really funny in the end.
That's why I want to rewatch the show, but I never got the chance to, and hoping that sooner or later I will, because it's gonna be like a whole lot of nostalgia for
Yeah.
me watching these amazing episodes.
That's what I did
Regular
back.
show.
That's what I did back in the pandemic with Thomas the Tank Engine. I literally binge watched all the episodes, even the boring garbage ones.
I see. All right, you want last show that you
Okay.
want to talk about?
I want to do a stretch on this one because
Stretch.
technically this wasn't a childhood show. I've seen this as a high schooler, but it also really played into me because of how much it impacted the way how I view the world too. And then
I wonder what it could be. Oh boy. If you want to hold that up, yeah. If you guys don't know, it is My Little Pony.
yeah, My Little Pony, specifically the fourth generation.
You want to wait? Oh yeah, I was like all in general or like the
No,
one
no, no,
you
just this generation. So basically, I wasn't introduced into My Little Pony until
Oh no, I wasn't mention. I was not. I know what you're now. I know what you're
Yeah.
mentioning. I was not mentioning the very first My Little Ponies where
No, no,
the
no, no,
animations
no.
were. I was of course talking about that.
Yeah,
that
this
time.
one.
I was thinking more like you're gonna talk about like only when Equestria Girls, like the
No,
movies.
no,
or-
no, not talking about Equestria
just
Girls.
over-
However, it's super ironic too, and I'll explain in a bit. So basically, how I got into My Little Pony in the first place was one of our best friends got me into it too, because I wouldn't expect that I'd actually find interest in it. Because back in the day, I really thought if you were considered as a brony or a Pegasus or whatever it was called.
If you guys don't know, Brony is where bros that love ponies.
Well, to be fair, My Little Pony friendship is magic.
Bros
Uh,
love ponies, yes.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. So I thought they were weird at first too, but it really didn't click onto me until I started watching, well, this specific movie, Equestria Girls on My Own. And ironically, the fandom despises this movie.
It's like the ponies were turning humanoid.
Yeah, exactly. That's the reason why, because they only wanted to watch it because of the ponies.
Hmm.
But it was because of that movie that got me into the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Like when you watched the series, like, or did you watch the series like after the movie?
Yeah, that's what I did because this
Really?
came out after the third season. And then after I watched this, I watched all the way in the beginning, back in season one, all the way up until season three, and up to that moment.
Oh, now I think about it, I think I think that's also what happened to me. Just for you to know, I've also watched My Little Pony.
But
So
he wasn't as big of it as
I'm
I
not as
was.
big of a brony as that guy over there.
Yeah. I wasn't like as obsessed compared to our friend though, who was actually obsessed with the show. But for me, I collected the plushies and I loved listening to the music around that time. So that was like one of the reasons why I got into it, the music. Because
Mm.
when you listen to the songs,
Now,
it
by the way, the music, as in like
the
the
songs,
music in that movie or in the Equestria Girls, or like
just like in
the
general.
songs in, okay.
Yeah, in general, like overall as a whole, because all their songs are like super catchy or really like toe tapping. Like when you listen to it, you could pass it as like an actual song, like
Mm.
something that you could hear on the radio. It mixes from like pop to like country to like party in general. Those are like the different type of styles that go onto it. But what makes it all the more cooler are like a different remixes of like the Brony community coming up with different songs. But I'm gonna stick past that. But that's just one of the reasons why I love the show. The other reason that I love the show, again, sort of like Arthur in general, are the messages that the show brings out. Because again, they don't spit it in your face, unlike how you actually would like learn how each episode goes, right? Like for example, Peppa Pig is just like something happens, all the narrator explains everything. Oh, everyone's happy in the
Mm.
end. No, you actually learn throughout the episode about how each of the characters develop and how their relationship continues to build upon it. And then in the end, Twilight gives a brief explanation about the overall meaning of the
Learn
episode.
the lessons. Yes.
Yeah. So, dear Princess Celestia, and then like whatever she learned. Um, I thought that was also pretty cool too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But all in all, the number one reason why I love My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is the animation.
Yeah, the animation. Not gonna lie, for it being a, I guess, a girl show.
Yeah.
Of course,
A
there's
TV show made
bronies,
for
so guys
girls.
can watch it. It has a good animation compared
Yeah.
to other.
Yeah, because when you
Sorry.
look at it side by side with like all the other past My Little Pony shows, it doesn't stand a chance
I
to
mean,
how it turns out too. What made it all the more cooler are the people behind the fourth generation too, because if you don't know who Lauren Faust is and Craig McCracken, they're the ones who are behind the Cartoon Network shows of like Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, all that type of stuff too. They were into like the really good Cartoon Network shows, and they got into My Little Pony, and because
interesting.
of that, that's the reason why I hooked myself into it too. So again, not just the animation as well, but again, like the stories that they tell, the overall
The
development of the
adventures
characters.
along the way.
Exactly. And with everyone coming in together and like showing the power of friendship, quote unquote, it just overall is really cool. But yeah,
Interesting.
that was a phase of mine. Um, Gosh, I had that ever since like I want to say my sophomore year of high school until I forgot when season 5 came out. That's when I sort of stagnated on the show and like sort of gave up on it.
I've only watched up to season 4. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, I watched all the way up to season 4 too. And then after that, I only saw like the beginning of season 5 and then I just slowly gave up on it. I
Mm.
liked the show still, but I wasn't into it as like the other interest that I have now because that's my transition from My Little Pony to Vocaloid
Mm.
and then anime in general.
Of course. By the way, for them to learn, for them to know, which out of the 6 ponies is your favorite?
Fluttershy, hands down, she was my favorite because one, I feel like I connected to her the most, and two, It's just something about her demeanor that just sort of like catches me onto her. But and number three is really ironic too. Like you know how like I mentioned in the previous episode that one of my fears is butterflies, right? And then on her side or like her
Her
cutie mark, she has butterflies on it. And then if you think about it too, Fluttershy, butterfly, it's sort of like a spin on it.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, she's hands down my favorite. And even to this day, I still adore Fluttershy. Will always be my favorite pony out of every single one in the show.
All right.
Just out of curiosity, too, don't you have a favorite?
Don't remember. It's probably the opinion changed, so um, non-affirmative. No.
Fluttershy, Twilight Sparkle, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and Rarity.
All right. Well, those were definitely some of our kid shows that we've loved watching and cherished and made an impact on us. So,
Help us to explore who we are as individuals right now, and also, of course, the memories that we have back as children or high school days.
back when we were young ones.
Younger,
Young
yes.
ones, yes.
So before we wrap things up, let's go through a list of different Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, PBS Kids, and Disney Channel shows that are based off of cartoons, and let's see how we, if we remember.
Some
these or not.
honorable mentions.
Yeah, basically some. Well, we could probably name them off the top of our head, but.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's a thing.
So-
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Oh no, heck no,
Hang on.
heck no. Okay, so for those who don't see my screen right now, so I'm looking at a title from their preschool block.
what channel is this, by the way?
Cartoon Network.
Okay.
Coco Melon and Thomas and Friends, All Engines Go. No, thank you.
Sesame Streets, yes.
Oh, Total Drama Island.
Oh, yeah, that show.
I haven't seen that.
I have. There was so much.
No,
So much happens in there.
Yeah. I remember one time that we were at a Bible study, and one of our friends came over. The one that introduced me into My Little Pony came in, and then she was like, it's ironic too, because that was literally the first time that I met her. We were talking. I was like scrolling through the channels, be like, "Hey, what do you guys want to watch on TV?" And then all of a sudden, I scrolled to Cartoon Network, and Total Drama was on.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Oh, let's watch Total Drama." Like, no, we're gonna watch
Oh.
something else. And then I accidentally made her cry.
Did it for the greater good, yes. Okay.
Exactly.
Anyways.
But we made up after that. So
Let's see.
Dexter's Laboratory. Do you know that one?
Yes, I remember some of it.
Johnny
Oh my
Bravo.
gosh.
Johnny Bravo.
Ed, and Eddie.
I love Ed
Oh,
and Eddie.
that was amazing. Just,
Yeah. Hands down, my favorite Cartoon Network show.
It was one. I'd say it's one of my favorites of that time.
Courage,
Courage of the Cowardly Dog.
Courage the Cowardly Dog. That was good. Sheep in the Big City. I sort of remember that one. Samurai Jack. That one was also a good one. Oh my God! Whatever happened to Robot Jones? I somehow remembered that.
I don't know. Oh
There's
my
Four
gosh,
Decades Next Door.
The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
That
Ooh.
was really good. I love that one. Let's see what else.
Foster's Home Imagination.
Yeah.
I was thinking of.
Oh my gosh, Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi. I remember that one.
I don't know that one.
Camp Laszlo. That one was
Oh
good.
yeah, Camp Laz.
My gym partner's a monkey. I somewhat remember that.
I remember. That was an interesting show.
It was sort of after that where I sort of like stopped watching Cartoon Network in general and switched to
Chowder.
Nickelodeon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chowder. Ben 10. Ooh, that was a good old.
I wasn't
kid
really
show.
a fan of that one
Oh.
as much. Yeah, this is when I stopped
makes me
watching
sad.
Cartoon Network. It was like after my gym partner's a monkey. That's when I sort of stopped watching.
There's a lot that I'm seeing and remembering. Scooby Doo was on there. I know that.
Yeah. Oh, this is different. So Warner Brothers, when they acquired it, I think that's it on that side. Yeah, let's move on to Nickelodeon. Here. It's all right. Let's keep going. Why not? Of course, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Of course, SpongeBob.
Everyone knows
SquarePants.
SpongeBob.
That,
Rugrats.
that's the one Nickelodeon show that
Yeah.
everyone's gonna remember.
Yeah. After that Cartoon Network phase, I got really into SpongeBob.
Nickelodeon had a lot of like how it's spin-offs.
Yeah,
It's like Nickelodeon, Nicktoons, Nick Jr.
Nick at Night.
Yeah, that
And then
one.
there was their other preschool channel, Noggin. That was a thing.
I don't even know.
There was Nick Teens. Good gracious, they're
I think I. Hmm.
But yeah, SpongeBob was one of them. Another one was Rugrats. I don't know if you've seen Rugrats back in the
Yeah,
day.
I have.
Let's see.
Probably on the VHS.
Preschool shows, former programming. Oh, I don't remember Doug as much. I remember seeing that on Disney though,
I
surprisingly.
think I maybe. I think I remember.
Rugrats, I mentioned already. The Ren and Stimpy show. I haven't seen that. Rocko's Modern Life, also haven't seen. Unreal Monsters, I saw briefly, but not as much. Hey Arnold, I remember that one.
A good one. Fairly Odd Parents.
Yes.
And Invader Zim. Ooh.
Invader Zim.
Yes.
Rocket Power. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Jimmy Neutron.
Yep.
I'm
Wild
watching
Thornberries.
that
Yeah, I
one.
remember that. Cat Dog. I think I mentioned that already. All great.
Avatar. Danny
You can't go wrong with
Phantom.
that. My Life as a Teen Robot.
Oh, yeah, that one. That one.
Let's see. I think like after that, I think it was.
Oh, I know El Tigre, the
Yeah, I
Adventures.
also remember LT Gray. Oh God.
Oh my gosh, I forgot Attacking the Power of Juju was on Netflix.
Yeah, me
Or,
too. It
was
wasn't
in
that wasn't the
Nickelodeon.
one that I was looking at though. Oh gosh, I really hated Fanboy and Chum Chum.
I watched it for some reason.
I didn't like it. It was
Yeah, I didn't find it. I know it was like weird, grotesque, and gross and all that, but I watched it for some
This
reason.
is why I'm glad Cartoon Network acquired Adventure Time over Fanboy and Chum Chum.
Oh yeah, that's right. It could have been on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I think after that it was sort of like
Then some other shows, either older ones that I don't know if
yeah,
or new ones.
game shows, varieties. I think those are the main. Oh, here you go, preschool. The Little Bill. Do you know that one?
No,
So it's about Bill Cosby as a kid and his stories.
no, I don't
No.
remember.
Dora the Explorer,
Of course.
Oswald,
Yeah.
the Backyardigans.
I thought that was a Disney thing.
No, it was actually
No, but
Nickelodeon.
now I'm thinking about it was.
Go Diego Go.
Hmm.
There's Wonder Pets. Oh, Ni Hao Kai Lan.
Of course. Ni hao Kai Lan.
I barely remember that show. Oh, Blue's Clues. Technically it's not really a cartoon show, but sort of close
Hey,
to it.
there was a 2D character in there. Okay, it was considered as a cartoon.
Exactly. I think the rest of these are. Yeah. These are different now. Okay, next. Let's go to Disney Channel. I know we're like running past our time, but hey, I don't mind. Let's keep going. Not these, not these, not these, not these, not these, not these, not these. Original. Here, I mentioned the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. That one's hands down one of my favorites. Oh, you remember when like Disney movies used to air like their own spin-off shows? Aladdin was one of them.
I didn't. No, I don't know.
Tailspin was based off of the Jungle Book. Goof Troop, based off of Goofy. Timon and Pumbaa, Lion King, obviously. Gargoyles from Notre Dame. 101 Dalmatians. Hercules, Legend of Tarzan. Oh, the Proud Family. That was good. Kim Possible, that was also good. Lilo and Stitch. Dave the Barbarian. Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. I don't remember these. American Dragon Jake Long. I know these ones. The Buzz on Maggie. I also know that one. Emperor's New School. Somewhat. Replacements. There's Phineas and Ferb. Everyone knows that one.
Everyone knows that one. Fish Hook.
Fish Hook, somewhat. Gravity Falls, somewhat.
Yonder, Wander Over Yonder. I remember that one.
I actually don't remember that one. Oh, good gracious. Wow, I don't remember
A lot
these
of
as
other.
much.
Some of them looks familiar.
Yeah. Oh, those are like live actions. We'll skip on these for now. Let's see. Reality, no. Games. Variety. Miniseries. Shorts. Well, my favorite shorts is the Mickey Mouse cartoons. Oh gosh, everything now. Buzz Lightyear. Holy moly. Let's see. High School Musical, the series. Oh, I forgot my favorite. There it is. House of Mouse. That one, hands down, is my favorite Disney Channel cartoon show of all time. where all the Disney movies and Disney characters come in the restaurant, and they just like are entertained by Mickey and his pals hosting the event.
Mm.
Let's see. Recess. Wow. It's been a while since I've seen that one. Teacher's Pet. Also a while. Oh, good gracious. I think that's mostly it. Unless. Oh, here we go. Disney Junior. Bear in the Big Blue House. It's not really it. Oh, there is the Book of Pooh. Can you teach my alligator manners? That's a show, huh? Charlie and Lola. I briefly remember that. The Doodle Bobs. It's not a cartoon though. Handy Manny. No. No. Higglytown Heroes. No. JoJo Circus. No. Koala Brothers. Little Einsteins at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, Roly Poly Oly. Stanley. No, I'm gonna talk about the Wiggles another day. Um, yeah, that's it for that. And PBS. One more for the roads. Let's see. Other than Arthur, let's see. Barney, friends, not that. Berenstain Bears. Okay, that one I call Bob the Builder. Come on. Caillou. Clifford. Yeah. Cyber Chase. That's another good one. Curious George. Someone ran into mine. Dragon Tales. That's another one I've seen. Fetch with Rough Ruffman. I recall that one. George Shrinks. I remember that one. Let's see. It's a Big Big World. The one with the sloth. Jakers. The Adventures of Piggly Yes. JJ the Jet Plane. Yes. Oh, Liberty's Kids. That was actually fun watching in like history class. Magic School Bus. Make Way for Naughty. Marvin the Tap Dancing Horse. I still remember that. Maya Miguel. That one was good. Let's see. Oh, Peep in the Big Wide World. I sort of remember that. Postcards from Buster. You can't have Arthur with the. You can't have postcards without Arthur. Sesame. No, skip on that one. Reading Rainbow. That one's technically live action though. Let's see. Salty's Lighthouse. Somewhat recalled. Seven Little Monsters. Shining Time Station. I wish I grew up on that because that's when Thomas originated here in the States. The Teletubbies. Nah. Timothy Goes to School. Theodore Tugboat. That was another anthropomorphic show other than Thomas that I love watching. Word Girl. World. And technically Zubumafu. But that's also technically live action. And then Zula Patrol. Holy moly. I'm pretty sure when we ran over that list, there are like a bunch of these that some of our viewers may actually know. But out of all of them, in your opinion, what is the best kid show?
There's too much, it's too much. I can't really.
Name the ones at the top of your head right now.
Wonder Pets, just.
Wonder Pets. Straight up. And then for me personally, it's Thomas the Tank Engine. But yeah, we ran a little over our time, but I think it was worth it because we ended up getting a little more distracted on everything. So, yeah. So, these are our picks for our favorite kid shows and like what inspired us today as adults. Well, to be more specific, cartoon shows. We're hoping to do live action another day or like different categories of shows in general so that we have more to talk about in the future. But yeah, so this is basically what we discussed about today. And then hopefully you guys enjoy our discussion today. Feel free to talk about what your favorite television show is for children or for children that are based off of cartoons in the comments below. Again, we're sort of debating about like our names for Caspen and I, the Weebs or ICduhweebs, but I think we might go through with ICduhweebs as our official channel name and podcast in general. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Do you want to say anything before we head off?
No, nothing.
I think I just bored him for like the past couple of minutes trying to like show through all the different kid shows. But yeah, again, hopefully you guys enjoy, and then we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
See ya.
Peace.